Being a living being and making mistakes allows us to be free to grow. And even though newness can be discomfort, and even though newness is unfamiliar, and even though newness means we can't prepare, yet that's where we find our dignity, in being wobbly human beings. And I want to transition now to the silent, invisible one. This one needs to trust us that we will scream when we need to. We will listen when we need to. We will give it attention when we need to, because it doesn't have a voice. It has no appearance. And of course, scientifically, we know we have hearing in a certain frequency range, and we have vision in a certain frequency range, our taste, a certain frequency range. This is all called transduction, a chemical information, hormone information, photons information, sound wave information, and we derive meaning from it. So we allow the one who has a broader range than our conscious knowledge. And most of us don't even tune in to every sound we hear or everything we see. So this one needs to know that we're grateful, that it's grateful for us taking care of it. Others couldn't take care of it. Only we can take care of our silent, invisible one. And when we do so, we can then properly take care of others. That's how we show up for other people who we really can't see them or hear them. They have a silent, invisible one too. And this is fun, and it feels good to connect with this part of us. And maybe a lot of us rush what feels good. We lose our innocence by condemning others who have done things to us that we do. And a part of us is keeping account of that. And we misinterpret, kind of like, out of fear, what this aspect of ourselves is actually able to provide. We can't see it, we can't hear it. It's scary maybe to even get to know it. However, it's asking for us to rest better together with it, to be slower, less pushy. It's the nature, it's the law of divine nature. We either bring the person to the law of divine nature or the law of divine nature to the person. We use our capacity to judge to find a middle ground. We need to go toward or bring it close. I'm sorry to break it to you, myself included, but we've done a lot of harm. It's not anyone else's fault. The first step of all of this, to unify, is to recognize that we have been part of the problem in the global consciousness of humanity. So we need to look at our intentions, find more nobility in why we're doing what we're doing, that it isn't just selfishly temporary approval junkie nature, but for the sake of the freedom and the gratitude that we want for ourselves and for others to really live in this world with a sense of a soulful, intuitive guide, this silent, invisible one as an advocate, as a protector, as our superpower. And finally, I would like to share how electricity and magnetism are related to this work. So atoms have protons, neutrons, and electrons, where we could divide up people in our life. There's ones who take energy, ones who give energy, and ones who are just there. And it could be that actually neutrons is the most beneficial, sustainable relationship, because even if there's slight give and take, a little proton energy, a little electron energy, it's neutral. There's no charge, there's no tension, there's an automatic oneness. So unifying these different scientific concepts will help us to look at the world and see these patterns are built into us, the numbers, the symbols, the consequential sequencing. So atoms of elements have the same masses. People of your tribe will have a similar weight to their consciousness, and atoms of different elements have different masses. Doesn't mean one is better than the other. They combine and they form new possibilities. Every particle, every unit is associated with a wave, particular wave, and every wave is composed of particles. So we find ourselves in these journeys, and there's going to be people coming and going, but they're meant to be there too. We're sharing a lane with others. Electricity and magnetism. So these are dual forces. There's a central point. You have left and right, top, bottom, front, back, inner, outer. And the lowest electricity has the highest magnetism. It's the most sucking, pulling, So where we have leaks is where we need a lot. And where we have no leak, we're radiating out. And this is what abundance is all about. The abundance of the mind, of the feelings, of the body, and of the spirit come from having an output of energy. Being a proton is being abundant. Cup runs over. Being an electron is saying, I need help. Is being the inner child. Is being the one who is looking to the higher power for the magnetic to draw in what we need to draw in. So neither one is better than the other. We all have it. The more you could say I'm here or here, the less you could say about the changes happening. If you say right now I'm an electron, or right now identifying as a proton, you actually cannot know if you're in the middle of transitioning towards protonhood or neutronhood or vice versa. That's kind of oversimplification. So to get into a little more detail, if you see a particle is right here, you cannot know now if it's going up or down, left or right. So when we find a position of something in one place, it isn't useful to start to say, oh, it's all going to happen the way it happened before. It's going to go in exactly this trajectory. That's false. It's actually more appropriate to say, I see where it is now, and I have no idea if I'm going up or down, left or right, in or out, front or back. And then we pay attention. That is the pause with a pleasure. That is where we're going to gain information. We don't need to know yet. And this is to be a scientist, a spiritual scientist. We don't know the direction yet even. It could be we're going in the direction we think we should. Just our consciousness alone already moved it somewhere. And finally, the change, this going forward, speeds up in crowdedness. This is why people love to meditate together. There's a swarming nature when there's a lot around, and we say, a lot of atoms together is a high mass, high gravity, and time slows down there. You can get more done. If you have a team, if you have people, if you have a support group, if you talk to somebody every day about these kinds of concepts, what you practice grows stronger, and everything will speed up. The changes which occur in time will happen faster if you don't do it alone. It's a law of nature. And alternatively, when you have there's low space there. When you have high space, there's so much room around. You have to cover that whole electricity, magnetism spectrum on your own. So there's a lot of space. There's kind of a void of space. Changes take much longer to happen if they happen. So this is really good food for thought. That's why I'm here. And I wish you unification of your inner science, outer science, front science, back science, left science, right science. And I wish you a better relationship with your silent, invisible one. And I wish you to find your own perfume, my Shayna perfume, and your perfume of a quality which has given you a perfumed essence being of who you really are. And all the areas where you've grown tremendous skills based on where you had to push in areas where you might have felt so terrible. So if you want to piggyback off my exercise, I wrote one quality of my feeling unlovable and worthless and how it makes me want to be the expert or want to do better, want to do it, want to get it done, want to do it right. And everything else flowed from there. Trust yourself, trust the process, and be well.